Hey Internet, Eric here. Finally getting back to the Child's Play series here on this channel. Um, if you're new to this channel, I do have retrospectives here in selected playlists of different series of movies, and sometimes I start a playlist and I get distracted, by like a blue car going past me or something like that. But today, I'm coming back to the Child's Play series, the Chucky series, however you want to call it. Today, I'm going to talk about the fourth entry in the franchise, Bride of Chucky. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers and specific scenes, so watch at your own risk. This came out in 1998, directed by Ronnie Yu of Freddy vs. Jason fame. Basic plot is we're now following Tiffany. Tiffany was an ex-girlfriend, an old girlfriend of Chucky when he was still human, Charles Lee Ray, and she pays off a cop to get Chucky's remains, the chopped up remains that happened at the end of part 3 from the evidence locker. She kills him with the help, she repairs him, prepares his body as much as she can. She sews him up, gives him new body parts. With the help of Voodoos for Dummies, she brings him back to life, and eventually Chucky gets pissed off at her, kills her, transfers her soul into the soul of a doll, and they have to get to Hackensack, New Jersey to get the amulet that he was wearing when he was killed as a human to be able to transfer their souls for the final time. It's a lot better than it sounds. I fucking love this one. This is probably my favorite one, equal to the first one. And here's why. First off, let's talk about Jennifer Tilly, because she is the star. Other than Chucky, she's the star of this show, and goddamn, she is fantastic. First off, in human form, she's fun, she's sexy, she's likable. She brings a real human side to her human side. That was a bad pun, but she's first off, you can tell right away she's psychotic, because when we first meet her, she kills the cop to get the evidence back, and it's one of my favorite scenes is when I'll discuss that later when I discuss the music. But she's really great. I love the way she meets Alexis Arquette. Alexis Arquette is her boy toy at the moment, and he's been trying to sleep with her for God knows how long. He's always trying to seduce her, and then one of my favorite scenes with her, like when she's human, is that scene. He says, "Haven't you kept me waiting long enough?" And she looks at him, and with a disgusting look on her face, she's like, "No." Just the curl of the lip and this like that look of disgust is great. After after Alexis is killed, she wants to get rid of his body, so she needs help. His body's in a trunk. She needs help getting the trunk into the trunk of her car. So Jessie, her neighbor in the trailer park, she not really seduces him, but she acts sexy and acts like the whole, hey, I need a strong man to lift this up into my trunk type of thing, and it works. And then the way the trunk is shut, and she's just leaning on the trunk of the car, and she's looking at him, and she's saying, "What are you doing later? You want to go out for a drink?" She perfectly plays a woman who can seduce a man to do her bidding. And I don't know if it's her voice, if it's her face, if it's her body, if it's her body language, if it's all mixed together. Jennifer Tilly is fantastic as Tiffany in the human form. And then I love when she finds out that her and Chucky have their little feud before she is killed. She goes from this sweet, innocent, she's a psychotic killer, but innocent woman to hating Chucky and just treating him like garbage. And it's great. The banter between her and Chucky are hilarious. And then when she becomes the bride, when she becomes the doll, she's still the same. She's still the same character. She loves Chucky. She hates Chucky. It's a wonderful mix of hate and love. I don't know how else to describe it. I love the Tiffany character. She is a welcome addition to this franchise in this film. We'll talk about Chucky. Um, Brad Dourif once again is fantastic as the voice. Chucky is more comical here, but it's more in a sarcastic asshole type tone, and it works perfectly. Just the little lines he says, like, what was it? We're also following two kids, Jesse and Jade, because Chucky and Tiffany have to get to New Jersey to get to the Charles Lee Ray's body, like I said. So they convince Jesse and Jade to take these two dolls to Hackensack, New Jersey. And this couple is in love, and then Chucky, Tiffany, because she's a romantic at heart, she's saying, "Oh, this is going to be beautiful for them." And then Chucky's in the background saying, "I give it 5 years, 3 if she gains weight." And he's also, making the jerk off motion when they're being all lovey dovey and stuff like that. The comedy here with Chucky works, and then his banter, like I said, with the Tiffany doll is great. They're lovey dovey there, and then they're arguing because the plates aren't getting washed, and then he says, "What would Martha Stewart say?" And it's whoever wrote this. I know Mancini had his hands in it. I think, yeah, Don Mancini wrote it. I know he wanted to make it somewhat of a romantic comedy / horror film. He does well. He does a really good job. I'm laughing at almost all the jokes. It's not overkill like Freddy's Dead or anything like that. Really, really enjoy it. The other characters, whoever plays Jesse, Nick Stabile. He's okay. Nothing special, nothing to really discuss. He's just there to be the love interest of Jade, who is played by Katherine Heigl. Katherine Heigl from Knocked Up and what other stuff she's done. They're just there. They're likable. They're not great, but you don't want them to die. You're not wasting 90 minutes following these two people. There's a couple other characters. There's their gay friend, whatever his name is. He's there to try to convince them that, because eventually, while they're on the road, Chucky is creating these murders, and then Jesse and Jade are thinking that each of the other one is doing the murders. This guy is there to try to convince him that neither one of them is the murderer, type of thing. He's there, I guess, for comedic foil. He's decent, nothing special. And now let's talk about one of my favorite characters that's not Chucky or Tiffany, is John Ritter. John Ritter, I love John Ritter in this movie. John Ritter is the guardian, I guess, the legal guardian of Jade. Parents are dead, I guess. And he plays Uncle Warren, and he's the chief of police, and he is not the John Ritter you know and love. He is this mean asshole who thinks that Jesse is not good enough for Jade, this and that. He sees taking care of Jade as like a chore, and John Ritter does a fantastic job of being this hateful asshole. He's planting weed in the van, so they have a reason to pull over Jesse and arrest him. Sending his little cronies to follow Jesse, this and that. And I love him. It's funny seeing John Ritter in a role that's not like Jack Tripper or from Problem Child or It or any of that stuff. I really love John Ritter here. So overall, performances are either nothing special up to great. So really Alexis Arquette. Alexis Arquette is in this movie for maybe 5 minutes. Fucking love him in this. He said the wannabe goth kid who's trying to bed Tiffany before she becomes a doll. I'm laughing my ass off every time this guy's on screen. So I had to give a shout out to him. So that's great. Soundtrack, a lot of it is heavy metal, rock music, and it fits perfectly for like the transitions, like when they're going from point A to point B. And I talked about Jennifer Tilly. My favorite use of music is when she has just killed the cop to get the evidence bag, and after she walks away, Rob Zombie's Living Dead Girl hits, and you see her walking away in the distance, and it's just this perfect silhouette of her body in the shadows to the opening of Living Dead Girl. And then we get to hear almost the whole song while she is putting together Chucky, this new body for him. She's sewing him up and giving him this, the great. I love the stitched up look that we've come to know for Chucky. I love the extra, space around his eye. The living dead girl. And then one of my favorite shots during this sequence is, like I said, she's trying to be seductive and sexy. Is she's doing this for a doll, but it's during the scene or during the part of Living Dead Girl where like the woman vocal is just kind of like not really chanting, but if you've heard Living Dead Girl, you know what I'm talking about. And it's a focus on Jennifer Tilly, and she's on her butt, staring directly at the doll, and she's crawling back at him, like worshiping him, it's fantastic. I love it. So the music is great. The blood, the guts, the gore, it's very over the top and cartoonish. So you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. There's no in between. We have neck slits, with blood gushing out like crazy. We have people getting hit by semi trucks and literally exploding. The one thing that got me that was a little too over the top was Jesse and Jade eventually they get hitched at like in Niagara Falls at like one of those drive-through weddings or whatever chapels, and they meet this other couple that's kind of scamming everybody and taking wallets and stuff, and then Tiffany finds them and kills them, and I won't spoil, but it's just one of the most over-the-top way that I always think of. That's one of the main kills I think of of this movie. So it's, if you can handle the kills you've seen so far, you can handle this one, especially when John Ritter get it. I'm not going to spoil it 100%, but it's a great Pinhead reference. And even Chucky says, wow, this kind of looks familiar to me. So the gore is really good. I mean, even when Alexis Arquette gets it, he's got some piercings in his mouth. Chucky rips them out, and a hell of a lot more blood pours out of his mouth than should have, but it is what it is, and I'm running with it. I'm really enjoying the over-the-top gore in this movie. Ronnie Yu does okay. He does. I like this movie a hell of a lot more than Freddy vs. Jason, because it's Freddy vs. Jason I have reviewed, and my problem with Freddy vs. Jason is I loved when it was Freddy vs. Jason. I hated all the other characters. I hated everything else that was happening on screen. Here, I'm never bored. I don't hate anybody. Yeah, he does a really good job. I like his little POV shots. Like, there's a scene, the camera is the point of view of something. When Tiffany, when the cop that she kills to get Chucky's remains, he opens the garbage bag to look to see inside the evidence bag, and you see the point of view looking up from the inside of the bag. When my favorite scene is during the Rob Zombie scene when she's putting Chucky together. We see the inside looking out of Chucky's head, and his eye socket is open, and you see Jennifer Tilly with an eyeball in her mouth, and she pulls it out and shoves it in the eye socket. Really creative. He does it one more time with Chucky's gonna blow up a van or a cop car, and he puts some, he's gonna light the gas tank, and he opens up the gas tank and you see his eye looking in. Really cool. I like that. Lots of really good overhead shots. My only problems with this movie, and I understand how goofy this one is getting. There is a doll sex scene, complete with Tiffany butt, which is just dumb as shit. Like I said, you could run with this movie. Even I think it's really dumb. Like, you see, the French kissing, and like I said, the doll nudity, and the shadows of them fucking in the background, and then there's this lame joke where Tiffany says, "Do you have a rubber?" And then Chucky says, "Babe, look at me, I'm all rubber." "Oh, I thought you were plastic." That's kind of groan-inducing. And then, but you know what? It's a failed joke. I can run with it. And then there's a couple shots where you can tell that they're using dwarfs in Chucky and Tiffany. It's overhead shots of like when they're fighting in a graveyard and they're fighting with shovels. And you can tell it's two little people dressed as them. It's it wouldn't be as noticeable if the shot wasn't as long on it. As quick as it is, you can still kind of tell. But that's just nitpicking. Um, yeah, I absolutely love Bride of Chucky. Probably my favorite in the series. It's ties probably with Child's Play, but they're so fucking different. It's hard to pick. Highly recommend Bride of Chucky. Jennifer Tilly is sexy as hell in human form. She's fun as Tiffany. Brad Dourif is great as Chucky. Chucky is now in the front. He is like the main character. He's no longer the killer in the background. He is great. Seeing him up front, he's still vicious. He's funnier than hell in this one. They give him more quips. The jokes work. Him and Tiffany have great chemistry when they're loving each other, when they're fighting each other, when they're loving each other, except for that sex scene. The other characters are fine or they're great, like John Ritter. The gore, I enjoy. Alexis Arquette is fantastic. The gore is over the top and goofy, but I really enjoy it. The only thing I hate was that fucking doll sex scene because it was just stupid and shit. So again, nitpicking. Highly, highly recommend Bride of Chucky. I really like this poster. It's kind of like the play on Scream 2. At least that's what I'm picturing. Highly, highly recommend Bride of Chucky. One of the best in this franchise. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment below. Click the bell. Share. Whatever. I got a few more films. I think I got 3 more to finish in this series. So yeah, after that, I know I have to finish the Ninja Turtle series eventually, and I have been requested, and I will do after Child's Play, because I have said it, I will be doing the Tremors series. But that's 3 movies down the road. So highly, highly recommend Bride of Chucky. Comment below. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. Don't say anything at all. I don't care. Cheers, and fuck Martha Stewart.